Hi class, welcome back to our Graduate Research and Design class. It's week 2 and May 30th. So this is the content for this week. Remember, you go to the Content tab, take a look at what's there for the week that is selected. Hopefully by now you've finished all of the activities from May 23rd through the 28th and submitted any that required submitting. And then after the week is over, I'll go through and grade things like last week's class discussion and class introduction discussion, make sure you responded. And also check the quiz scores, make sure everyone took that. And that should be everything from last week. Hopefully you're done with all those things. This week is May 30th through June 4th. And again, you need to finish all these activities during this week by the end of June 4th. And so that's Saturday. Also a warning, this week I'm also going out of town. So I will have limited internet access as I go out of town for this week, for the rest of this week, and also early next week. So, but this is what you need to start. Start reading research reports on your topic. Okay, so what is your topic? Well, it's whatever you want it to be. It's an area of research interest that you have that you can hopefully write a proposal about by the end of this class. And so in order for you to be ready to submit your preliminary literature review, and I think it's due in a couple of weeks, you need to start right now to read scholarly articles within an area of research interest to you. You need to find articles that are peer-reviewed or published books on a subject, and also most articles that you read should be research reports, meaning that they report on a research study done and include findings from the study, not a secondary source, which is a listing or a compilation of multiple research studies. So you want to find more just basic research studies, like we did this one study to determine what the response was among our subjects, not a paper that just kind of summarizes all the research that's been done in one area. That's not what we're looking for. Although you can read some of those and include those in your preliminary literature review. So some articles could be analyses or summaries of research reports or other types of publications, however. But make sure that most of them are a research study itself that the person who did the study wrote and talked about. Now, what you do is for each article you read, you'll need to copy the reference information in APA format like these examples. So here's a journal article. This is the APA format, which you will know about very soon if you don't already in this class. There's a book and a book section. So if you are reading a book section or a book, that's how you're going to cite it. Author, last name, first initials. If there are other authors, you add those in, the year, the name of the article, then the name of the publication, then the name of the volume and issue, and the page numbers. Or if it's a book, sorry, I skipped a journal article there, but anyway, if it's a book, author, last name, first initials, year, name of the book, location of publication, and the company of publication. So, and so forth. You'll be doing this a lot in this class. You'll be needing to get good at this, taking a publication, putting it into APA format. When you have the reference information for the article in the APA format, make some notes about the article and put these close to your citation. List some of the main points that stick out to you. This is going to become an annotated bibliography. List the study procedures or methods and be sure to include the findings, especially if they are relevant to your interest areas. Okay, so now in order for you to be ready in this course, because it's a shortened course, you're going to have to read about 4 to 5 research articles related to an area of interest each week. If you do read that many, you'll be just fine when it comes to doing your literature review and research plan for this class. So it's really in the fact that you're reading those things each day and writing down what you learned, some of these areas, and also having an APA formatted site or works cited or references that will allow you to get ready for your literature review. If you don't do this now, you won't be ready for your lit review. It'll be difficult to pull it all together last minute. So that's something to start. Okay, now some of the activities this week a little bit later will teach you about where to find such articles and so forth. So we'll talk about those as we go through them. You'll also read chapters 3 and 4 from the textbook, and you can review these slides again, which are a nice review of what's in the chapter. And then you'll post about narrowing and focusing your research topic. So in this discussion board for this week, you're going to discuss a general topic or two that you might like to focus on for your own research study in this class. You might have worked on starting to read some of those research reports that you're going to start soon, and they will help you narrow the topic and focus of your work. As you read those articles and those studies, you might say, well, this is kind of a really interesting one. You might read another one that you might respond that it's not very exciting at all, and that's probably not what you want to do for your research in this class. So that's something to think about. But anyway, go ahead and talk about a general topic or two that you might want to focus on. And remember, the same rules apply. You'll have a main post that's substantial, and you'll also have 2 responses to other students' posts. Then this time we're going to learn about sources of information, academic integrity, citations, and some of these learning modules will help you go through that. So you can just go through them in order and finish those out. You'll learn about how information is produced, some types of sources that will help you to get your reading started as well, how to read scholarly materials. Those will take probably 15 minutes to an hour each for each of those 3, I think, items there, or 15 minutes to a half hour, sorry. And then you'll go through another set of learning modules about academic integrity, which is a very important part of this course as well. And then also instruction on finding sources from your librarian. So, and Lynn Klunt is your librarian. If you do have questions or are unable to access the Northern State Library like you want to, you can contact her, and her email is right there, and she can give you that help to make sure that you're able to get access to the things that you need to access, to log in, and to find journal databases. So that's narrowing and focusing your research topic. Then after you do some of those, watch some of that instruction about finding sources, about learning about sources of scholarly information and so forth. You'll take chapters 3 and 4 quizzes. And again, those are 20 questions, 60 minutes. And then finally, by the end of this week, you'll also need to complete the city certification. And this is a certification program that you'll go to. It'll take a few hours as you go through and try to basically learn about ethical and important guidelines for research. And then when you are done, all you need to submit to that Dropbox is a PDF certifying that you've finished it. They give you a PDF when you're done. It prints out your certificate for having completed the training. So all the information should be there. We actually do have a couple of you finished already with this certification. So those are the things to complete by June 4th. It's quite a lot, so hit the ground running this week and get started. I also just wanted to give you a little bit of an intro for those who, in case you have a little bit of a trouble getting into the library websites. We have some students who are from afar and may not have access to a library database. So what I would like to do is just show you another database that's a very nice one to use for scholarly research as well, and it's called scholar.google.com, or Google Scholar. So if you go to Google Scholar, you can actually look these things up without having to log into any kind of website, although it is better if you connect it with your school library, whatever school you're going to. So I can look up something like self-directed learning, and take a look here, and I have this nice little article right here called Self-Directed Learning by Malcolm Knowles. And it's a 1975 article, looks like. Oh, but I don't have access to it. So that is one problem that comes up with self-directed learning, is that sometimes you just don't have the information accessed here, like you might at your library database. But on Google Scholar, you can actually find quite a bit. It lists PDFs from different places that you can pull up and read about different sources oftentimes, and that can count as you start your reading of research reports. One thing to be aware of, though, is that if we look at this one, it says, why self-directed learning? And if you look, you can read the abstract. That'll give you an idea of whether this article is going to be good for you at all. It talks about problem-based learning. It talks about self and peer evaluation. But if you notice, there's no methods section, there's no participants section to this article. And so that means that this is not a research report. This is something that I could probably cite if I wanted to in my literature review and in my preliminary literature review that I'm going to be doing. But it's not a research report. It doesn't say we conducted a study on a series of 5th graders in the classroom, or we did a study on counseling patients who work at this facility. It's not like that, and so what I'm primarily looking for is that. I'm looking for more research study type things. So what I could do instead of typing self-directed learning, maybe I could do a self-directed learning study. And maybe I could find something that has like a study. Here we go, development of a self-directed learning readiness scale for nursing education. So that's an actual study, I believe, although I'm probably not interested in how somebody developed a scale. And I could also get more narrow about participants. Maybe a study of adults or something like that. And I can come and find some more information. And one thing that I could probably find is a good example of a study. Maybe not under self-directed learning. Here we go, National Survey of Teachers' Promotion of Self-Determination and Student-Directed Learning. If I look at this study, this sounds like it's going to be a research report. And so if I read this abstract right here, it says the article describes the findings of a national survey of teachers' opinions. So that's a research report because it actually did some kind of research. It actually went out there and implemented some kind of instrument, had some participants who looked like teachers. And if we look down further in the article, we're going to find a method section. If you see that method section, that's a good clue to you that, hey, this is an actual research report that I can read that will tell me some results that they found from the research. And down here there's some results, and these are the results that we can read. And then in your annotated bibliography, you'll take the APA reference for this article, and then you'll write a little bit about it. Like they implemented a survey, the results are A, B, and C, and that's what we want to have. Okay, this one's very easy also to cite. Let me pull up Word here. So if I was going to create a nice little APA citation / annotated bibliography of it, I can do that. Just move this over real quick. Put it over here. So again, how APA works is we have the author's names and first initial and middle initial, and then the comma, because there are 3 authors here, we have A-G-R-A-N, comma M, and then we have the ampersand sign. I could be wrong about that ampersand, but anyway. And it looks like we have the year 2000, so 2000, period. And then the next thing is the article name itself, a national survey of teachers. And actually, since this is in a periodical, we don't capitalize any but the first word. Of teachers, promotion of self-determination. And student-directed learning. Okay, the next thing is in italics, the journal, and this is capitalized because it is the periodical of special education. And then we have the volume number. It looks like 34. Issue number in parentheses. 2 looks like. And then we have the pages after a comma. 58 through 68. There we have a nice little APA reference, and then underneath I would just type in what I thought about the actual article itself. So that's how to get started on the reading research reports on your topic. Remember to do 4 or 5 of those each week. Have a great week.